Welcome to GOLT Talk, your podcast for technology and innovation in the legal profession. If you're searching for solutions to revolutionize your legal practice, you're in the right place. 10 minutes pure, actionable product insights from CEOs shaping the future of legal technology. And here is your host, Tom Pfennig.
Welcome to GOLT Talk, your podcast for innovation and technology in the legal and compliance space. My name is Tom and I'm your host. 10 plus minutes, pure actionable insights from CEOs shaping the future of the legal profession. It is my distinct pleasure to welcome Alex Baker, CEO and founder of the LegalTech collective based in London in the UK. Alex, very welcome to the GOLT Talk.
Thanks, Tom. Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. This is a little bit of a difference to the traditional LegalTech CEO talk because you are doing something different with the LegalTech collective that we are going to dive in momentarily. But before we do that, give us a little bit of background on yourself, please.
Yeah, thanks, Tom. So I've been working for AI companies for about 15 years, but I started my career in advertising technology and then accidentally fell into the world of legal tech. I launched the LegalTech collective in the back end of 2023 with the mission to support legal professionals that were looking to build legal tech ventures. And so we've been doing that now for coming up to two years.
Awesome. And that is the perfect segue to really the services that the LegalTech collective is offering in this ever-growing and more complex legal technology ecosystem. Please tell us a little bit about what you're doing, how you're helping legal tech vendors, and what's the purpose of the LegalTech collective.
Great. Thank you. Yes, actually, it's not just legal tech vendors that we support. Well, legal professional, I would say, because it isn't just lawyers that we've worked with, but we want to help legal professionals to create successful technology ventures. And often that starts when someone in the profession has an idea for a better way of doing things, something that could be more efficient, something that could provide value to their clients, or an idea for a solution that might be utilized by them and other lawyers like them. And so when we look at lawyers that are at the ideation phase, we're really trying to help them validate whether or not this idea is a commercially viable idea.
Yes.
So before building anything, we really want to think about what the problem is that they're trying to solve, how much of that problem exists in the world and in the legal ecosystem, and how meaningful that problem is to the clients that they're thinking about selling this proposition to or that might use it. So it really starts that's the point of entry when we would start working with a client. But we also work with existing legal tech vendors that have already got some traction in the market. But primarily, in our experience, 99% of legal tech is founded by lawyers who have the domain expertise and they have the problem that they're looking to solve. Typically, it's something that they themselves have experienced, but they don't have any experience in building technology ventures. And that's where we come in.
What's the proportion between existing legal tech vendors and those that are still in the ideation phase?
Good question. So I tend to break it down into three phases.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got the ideation phase, and that is all about commercial validation, as we just talked about. Once you've gone through that phase, you're then talking about winning your first client. And then you're growing through early millions in revenue. So up to about 5 million in ARR is really our sweet spot. And so we're looking to take legal professionals on that journey. There are a number of instances where we are also working with some of the world's biggest law firms who are also building products to commercialize those propositions and sell those propositions to their clients. And these are firms that, of course, have immense resources at their disposal. But one of the categories that's of particular interest to us is the boutique and mid-market firms that don't have AI engineers and all the development resources that some of these larger firms have. And with them, we're not just looking to support them on the commercial side of their businesses, but also to be able to support them with the product development capabilities that we now have as well.
How do you validate the viability of an idea, especially in a market where there is already a lot of competition and a lot of existing solutions in all these categories? What's your metric and what's the toolbox that you are utilizing in order to confirm viability?
It's a great question, Todd. So you're in this space. You've probably heard the term product market fit being thrown around a lot.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, I think early stage founders, specifically those that have not been through this journey before, lean very heavily on the P in PMF and not the M.
Yes.
What do I mean by that? I mean, people get excited by the idea of creating a product, seeing it come to life, making the user experience look great and make people excited about potentially using it. But before you get to that point, you've got to talk to the market. You've got to understand what the market needs. You've got to understand if that problem that you yourself have experienced that's instigated you exploring the idea of creating this technology product, whether or not that same problem is experienced by somebody else at another firm that's doing the same role. Is it experienced by somebody else at a smaller firm or a bigger firm if you're a mid-sized firm? Is it experienced by in-house GCs or is it lawyers working at law firms? And I think there isn't a sufficient amount of due diligence around the problem before legal professionals get very excited about an idea that they then invest huge amounts of resources, time, effort, and energy into building. What is the framework around which we validate those ideas? It's across a number of different components. I can't share all of our proprietary techniques, but it really is embedded into what is the problem that you're trying to solve? What is the breadth of that problem across the market? What is that depth of the problem at an individual client level? And when you compare that against the cost of developing this business, is it then a commercially viable opportunity?
Great answer. I still need to drill down a little bit deeper in this journey of validation. And we are still in the ideation phase, not in the 1 to 5 million ARR category yet. Are you then working with those external partners like in-house teams, like law firms, big and small, so that there is really a spectrum of opinions that you are receiving and validating and applying against that idea? Or are you having a fixed set of vendors, of contributors that are looking at the idea from within the LegalTech collective without really tapping into the external market?
It's neither of those two things. For us, it's about providing the founders who have these ideas with the tools that they need to be able to go out to the market and have those conversations. And so I can't tell a lawyer who's thinking about building a product whether or not it's a good idea or not. The market needs to be able to tell that individual whether or not the idea is good or not. And all we do in this process is provide the vehicle to get that founder to the point of having the answer. And this point about product market fit, it's an ongoing, constantly evolving process that you must continue to do. The market is always changing. New competitors can be coming into play. Other new tooling may expand its capability and start to encroach on your idea, for example. It isn't I think a lot of people again think about this idea of product market fit being this point in time. It's not, it's a constantly evolving process.
It's a journey. Perfect. Now, shifting towards achievement and success. We all know that 70, 80, 90% of startups fail. Probably because the focus is on the P and not the M and not the F. And we see this in this boiling ocean of legal technology, that there is some vendor here and there, without calling out names, that are getting very close to a potential collapse. Do you have any data or can you share any insights that those lawyers, entrepreneurs, startups that are working with you and are focusing more on the fit and the market and the product are having a higher rate of success. In other words, the failure rate goes down when people do these validations. Can you give us some insights in that respect?
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't think we look at success purely as helping a company to succeed, helping a company to grow revenue, helping a company reach its next funding milestone. There are plenty of companies that we do help achieve those things. But for us, success is also about helping someone to realize that an idea that they might have is not a good one and that they shouldn't invest the next 6, 12, 18 months of their life and a significant amount of resources to build a solution to a problem that no one has or is willing to pay for. And so for us, helping someone to validate that is also success, even though you're not going to read about it in the legal tech press.
Yes, you're saving a lot of pain and saving a lot of wasted money to those who come to you with an enthusiastic idea, but without the product market fit at the end.
It's also going to save us, it saves a huge amount of noise in the marketplace. I think the last I looked, there was something in the region of about 5,000 different legal tech companies around the world. And I know it's being talked about in the press a lot at the moment, legal tech news generally, about there being overlap and the chances are there's going to be consolidation in the market. If you're going to be successful, you've got to be finding a space in the market where you can add more value than anyone else. And you've got to be solving that meaningful problem such that you are more important to your prospective client base than the other 5,000 legal tech companies that might be out there trying to prospect into law firms and in-house legal teams. So for us, getting that point right actually is hugely impactful, not only to the individuals that are thinking about pursuing these ventures, but also to try and reduce the amount of noise in the market from solutions that are never going to become successful.
And we see this with GOLT AI. We have roughly 2,500, 2,500 solutions on the platform in 18 different categories in the taxonomy. And it is somewhat between enthusiasm and decision paralysis in the market because you can't see the forest for all the trees at times. I would love to move into this segment of 1 to 5 million US or euros ARR, and your comment that you have to constantly validate the viability of your product, which I would then translate into, even if you're in this space up to 5 million, you're not safe yet, because the competition is constantly evolving and iterating and pivoting into new features and capabilities. So what is your advice to those 5,000 out there in the market that are probably falling within this space to make sure that the noise is somewhat not increasing, if I may say so, and that they are staying competitive and customer-centric?
I think it's just an ongoing process of communicating with the market. So if you have reached that point of having $1 million, euros, pounds in ARR, you're obviously doing something right. People don't part with money just for the sake of it. You must be providing value, but you want to always ensure that you are continuing to provide maximum value, that your customers are happy with what they have purchased. And just because they've parted with money, it doesn't mean to say that you're delivering value. So you need to be continuously monitoring the usage of your application. Who is using your application? What are they using it for? Does that correlate to this hypothesis that you have documented before you've even launched your business around where you're going to deliver value? And again, if it's evolving, then your business needs to evolve as well. So there isn't a one-size-fits-all systematic framework that tells you whether or not you're delivering value. But it comes from continuously engaging with the market to continuously validate that you are doing so.
Yes.
And building and maintaining those relationships so that you don't stagnate at the 1 million mark, but you progress through to that 5 million mark.
And in simple terms, that you renew your licenses, because that's where the rubber hits the road when it comes to renewal time. And we are still early in the game of legal technology. Let's see in a year or two whether the licenses of the established incumbents will be renewed or whether users are looking for disruptors within your target group. Let's shift gears towards obstacles, roadblocks, and challenges. You, with the LegalTech collective yourself, are somewhat of a startup, having been in the market for less than 5 years. From your own perspective as an entrepreneur, CEO, and founder, what were the biggest challenges for your company and how did you cope with that?
A great question. I think for me, the biggest challenge is it's probably coming more from the market than anything else. I mean, no surprise to yourself that this market is slow to move. And, the pace of change, I think, over previous years when I came into the market in 2018, 2019 was glacial at best. But I think now the opportunity and the threat are both equally, I think, being perceived by the market as the instigators of change. And I know this sounds extremely high level, but I think the biggest challenge that the industry has faced and why the legal tech market hasn't necessarily progressed at the pace that it is now is because there hasn't really been a threat to the historical way of doing things. And now there is. Now there are better ways of doing things. There are better ways that clients and the firms can see that the old way is no longer going to work over the next 5 to 10 years. So I think one of the biggest challenges that we face is having to educate and warm the market up to the fact that the pace of change now is far faster than it ever has been before. An example I used when I was doing a talk on this recently was just how quickly more generalist technology businesses have grown. You look at the time it took for various different businesses, technology companies, to get to 1 million users. I think it took Facebook something like a year to achieve this. ChatGPT got to 1 million users in 24 hours. It's now used by 10% of the world's population. It only launched like 2.5 years ago. The pace of change is unbelievable. And so I think, one of the biggest challenges is trying to convince the naysayers that this is happening. Thankfully for us, I think the portion of the market now that is aware of this and aware that things have accelerated significantly in the last 2 to 3 years, that's now setting us up for success moving forward.
Very good. I have 2 more questions. One, are there any competitors to what you guys are doing?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of competitors out there. From my perspective, there's no one that's really doing exactly what we do. So I've often been asked, what is the LegalTech collective and the LegalTech Foundry? The Foundry is the portion of the business that also develops and builds the technology that lawyers are looking to productize. Are we a software development house? Are we a marketing agency? Are you a consultancy or an advisory business? Do you provide capital to grow these ventures? We're kind of all of those things, but we just deploy different quantums of each of those components depending on what the business needs and what it requires. So I don't think there's anybody that's doing exactly what we're doing. There's plenty that are competing in those respective component pieces. And I think the way that I would distinguish our offering, or the way that I would position our offering, is if you're somebody with an idea that wants to develop a venture, regardless of what stage you're at, if you are early stage, we will get you to the point of commercializing your proposition far faster and more effectively than any other means.
Perfect. So my second and last question is, how do I get to you as a legal tech vendor or someone with a great idea? And how do you come to me, finding me, selecting me, retaining me? What's the connecting juice between me and you?
Well, it's easy to find me. I'm on LinkedIn, and plenty of people send me messages on a regular basis thanking us for the content that we put out. But you can find me on LinkedIn, Alex Baker, LegalTech Collective. Equally, If you want to get in touch, get in contact, our website is legaltechcollective.com. And for those that are thinking about developing solutions from the ground up, check out the Foundry, is ltcfoundry.com. In terms of us selecting who we work with and who we want to work with, really what we're looking for is, does this individual have clarity around the problem? And if they don't, do they have the humility to acknowledge that and recognize that there is perhaps opportunity for refinement? We're also going to then be looking at what signals they've managed to acquire in terms of that market validation piece. And we also want to look at scalability. Is this something that really can grow into a substantive venture that's going to be successful, not only for this individual, but also potentially for investors if the scale warrants it? So from our perspective, there's a number of different components that we're looking at when we select who we're going to partner with.
Awesome. Alex, this was a super insightful podcast. I learned a lot, the audience for sure as well. You're doing this legal tech market globally a huge service, filtering out the noise at the beginning to not add more water into this ocean, and maintaining quality and control in the existing ocean so that it's not boiling over. So thank you so much for all the insights. Alex Baker, CEO and founder of the LegalTech Collective in London, United Kingdom. Thank you, and we'll be in touch, Alex. Take care.
Thanks again, Tom.